Hi friends, in today's video, I'm gonna recap the story of a woman who lost her husband and goes to the mountains to scatter his ashes, where she encounters the kidnapping of a girl. So sit back and get comfortable because in this video, I'm gonna share you the story of...
Welcome to Random Recaps. In this video, I'm going to recap the movie.
After the death of her husband, the widow Barb embarks on fulfilling his last request, scattering his ashes, which are in this little box, in Lake Hilda, north of Minnesota, where they had their first date. On the way, she hears on the news that a possible snowstorm is approaching, but Barb doesn't care and decides to keep going. Due to the storm, she takes a detour and gets lost, but she finds a cabin where she stops to ask where the lake is. A strange guy named Camo Jacket gives her directions to get to the lake, and Barb, scared, notices blood on the floor and asks him about it. Camo Jacket tells her it was a deer.
Deer.
Okay.
I don't believe you.
Seeing that the guy is very strange, she doesn't ask any more questions and heads to the lake. Upon arriving, she remembers that on their first date, her husband Carl taught her how to fish. When she was about to scatter his ashes, Barb hears a gunshot. She gets scared, and as she heads back to her car, she hears another one. And she realizes that Camo Jacket is chasing a tied-up girl who is trying to escape from him. She wants to call the police but has no signal, so she grabs her things and tries to flee from the lake in her car. But it gets stuck. No! Barb hides and watches Camo Jacket come out of his cabin, so she takes advantage and runs toward it to save the girl. But the door is locked. While looking for another entrance, she finds a window on the side of the house where she manages to see the kidnapped girl. But she doesn't help her because she realizes that Camo Jacket and his wife Purple Lady are heading to the cabin. Purple Lady had told her husband where the girl would be so that he could kidnap her. Barb lets the girl know that she won't leave her there alone, and she heads back to her truck in search of something that might help her. Purple Lady comes out of the house bleeding from the nose and notices that Barb left a glove behind, and she sees what was written on the window. Plus, she finds her footprints. Purple Lady gets angry and asks Camo Jacket whose glove it is. He tells her that a lady came asking where the lake is, and he kindly gave her directions. Purple Lady gets mad at him for being so kind and tells him to go with her to stop the lady from saying anything. The two head to the lake in search of Barb, where they see an old fishing shack in the middle of the lake that Barb had set up as a trap for them to fall into. While Purple Lady helps her husband, Barb takes advantage to sneak into the house and help the girl. She removes the tape from her mouth and tells her to look for something to remove the handcuffs, but first she tries to flood the house. As she exits it, Purple Lady shoots at her. Barb hides behind the car and takes advantage of Purple Lady reloading the gun to run off into the woods. The good thing for Barb is that the woman has the aim of a stormtrooper. Purple Lady enters the cabin and closes the faucets so it doesn't flood, and notices that the girl is still in the basement. Since Camo Jacket is hypothermic, she gets in the car and turns on the heater so her husband can warm up a bit. Barb heads back to the truck looking for something to treat her wound, but since she has nothing, she applies some ice. Seeing her hand, she realizes that her wedding ring fell off and she searches everywhere for it, but doesn't find it. She heads back to the old shack looking for the ring, and there she remembers when her husband proposed to her.
Will you?
Here we realize that the script is on her side because she found Camo Jacket's loaded pistol.
You gotta be kidding me.
Purple Lady fell asleep in the car waiting for her husband to warm up, and upon waking, she takes the girl out of the basement to put her in the car. At that moment, Camo Jacket realizes he lost his gun. His wife gets angry, and she tells him to stick to the plan. Seeing that Camo Jacket went to the lake, Barb takes advantage to sneak back into the cabin, but she doesn't find the girl. In the same way, she takes advantage to look for something that might help her close her wound. Barb closes the wound with the fishing hook, and then she finds a box of empty bullets, so she sets out to look for another box, finding it inside Camo Jacket's car, which Unfortunately, when she opens it, she also finds empty.
Come on, man.
But in the car, there's a radio that Barb tries to use to call for help. Someone answers, and Barb tells them what's happening. When she was giving the directions, Camo Jacket appears to attack her.
Oh, okay, can you just get...
Barb defends herself as best she can and grabs the pistol to shoot him. Camo Jacket begs her not to and tells her that his wife forced him to do all this because she's sick. Purple Lady is a hospital employee with a terminal illness. The girl had been admitted to the hospital after several suicide attempts, so it occurred to his wife to kidnap her to extract her liver.
What?
She plans to extract it in the makeshift medical tent that she sent her husband to set up, and then take it to a surgeon to have it transplanted.
That bitch!
But time is running out. The guy tells her that he's done helping her and just wanted to go to the hospital to treat his hypothermia. To make her understand that he's a good person, Camo Jacket returns the ring that Barb was looking for. But Barb still doesn't trust him, so she asks him to go to the nearest town to get the police before going to the hospital. He agrees, and as another show of being a good person, he gives her the bullets he has left. Camo Jacket heads on the way to the town, but he runs into Purple Lady. She stops him and angrily tells him that he has to help her make this work.
You know exactly what happens. We have to make this work.
Her husband, tired of all this, tells her it won't work and that what they're doing is madness. But Purple Lady doesn't want to give up and will do whatever it takes to save herself. While they argue, Barb gets the idea to blow up the truck. But before that, she remembers when she was about to give birth and Carl took her to the hospital in that same truck. Though it's not a very nice memory because at that moment they couldn't have a child.
We keep trying. I won't quit.
Barb launches the truck into the lake and makes it explode to create a signal that someone can see. The hunters she had spoken to on the radio happen to see the explosion, and she stops them to get their help. She tells them what's happening and asks them to go to the cabin to help the girl. The hunters realize she's armed and, for safety, tell her that if she gives them the gun, they'll help. With no other option, Barb agrees and guides the hunters to the cabin, where they find Purple Lady's car parked with her inside. The hunters decide to approach to talk to the woman kindly, ignoring Barb's warnings.
Are you stupid or something?
And when they open the car door, they realize it was a trap. Purple Lady comes out of her hiding spot and takes out the hunters. Then she tries to take out Barb too, but she grabs the gun she had and makes a tactical move to injure the psychopath's ankle.
Yes! 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 Yes!
Taking advantage of her being wounded, Barb runs for the hunter's rifle, but doesn't reach it because Purple Lady grabbed her sniper first. The psychopath shoots at her, while Barb realizes that Camo Jacket is dead. So the police won't come to help her.
No! No! No!
Purple Lady manages to knock out Barb, and at that moment, she remembers when Carl died of an illness and they never managed to have a child.
Carl?
Barb wakes up next to the handcuffed girl and sees her crying, saying she doesn't want to die. Barb tells her that's a good thing and asks her name. She encourages Leah not to get discouraged and to have confidence that she can get out of this. Barb realizes that the box with Carl's ashes is nearby, so she does everything possible to grab it and uses it to free herself. Once she frees herself, she gives Leah a screw to hold on to, but she realizes there's no way out, so she tries to break through the storm door. She succeeds, but Purple Lady is outside waiting for her.
Aw, for the love of crud!
So she forces Barb back to the basement. The next day, Purple Lady takes Leah and Barb to the middle of the lake, where the makeshift medical tent is located. And there, she forces Barb to tie Leah to a surgical table to remove her liver. Barb tries to evangelize Purple Lady like Naruto, but it doesn't work.
Put her on the fucking table!
So, with no other option, she does what she says. She lays the girl on the table and ties her with duct tape. When she's no longer useful, Purple Lady shoots her. And seeing that she's getting worse, she hastily begins the liver extraction. But don't worry, Barb is still alive and attacks Purple Lady with some scissors. Purple Lady gets up and grabs the sniper to shoot her, but Barb isn't going down that easily, so she fights her until she gets her out of the tent and away from the weapon. As best she can, Purple Lady manages to grab the sniper. Barb tries to stop her but can't. When Purple Lady is about to shoot her, luckily she runs out of bullets. And while all this is happening, the tent is burning. Purple Lady manages to knock out Barb, and when she takes away her box, she realizes that was what saved her. This little box is the MVP of this movie. Meanwhile, Leah manages to free herself with the screw that Barb gave her. Purple Lady takes Barb to the old shack to throw her down the well, but Barb has ultra instinct reflexes. So she handcuffs the psychopath and drags her with her to the bottom of the lake to save Leah. Underwater, Barb takes advantage and scatters Carl's ashes. Not only did she save the girl, but she also fulfilled her husband's wish. 07 Barb gave everything to save the girl. Before leaving the lake, Leah looks at the photo of Barb and her husband happy on their first date, and that is how the movie ends.